Season 1, Chapter 2, How to Render 720p HD Videos on Sony Vegas.
Alright, now that we've gotten through the boring stuff, let's officially start on our first program, our first tutorial, Sony Vegas Pro 10. I have the Pro 10 edition, compliments of the Pirate Bay. And we're just going to let Sony Vegas load here at your splash screen. Splash! And just going to let that load there for a second. I should probably already have it open, but, you know, who cares? So, you're going to come to this screen when you first start up. It's actually probably going to be like this. And you can, this is how I have it set up, so you can compare yours to mine. I have the project media bins right here. I have my preview editing screen. I have my sound here, which I never really use it. And this is just my editing timeline and effects. These are up here. This is all you're going to need to know later on in the series. I'm going to show you how to use all these. So what we're going to do for today is we're going to just show you how to select video properties and then how to render them. First, using 720p HD, also known as 720 pixels. And we're going to start off just by putting anything here, because it won't let you select properties without putting something there. Okay, we're good now. So, we're going to go over to properties to begin, and you're going to start with a template. And you don't really have to use any of these, just select your own one. So, right off the bat, highlight all of it and type YouTube 720p HD, or that's exactly what mine is going to be, so that's all you have to name it. And save template just to start. Okay, save. The width is going to be 1280 pixels by 720 pixels. The field order, it really doesn't matter. I just select progressive scan. Pixel aspect ratio. This is all dependent on to what you want to do, but for HD we're going to use HDV 1080, but that's not for 720p videos. So for right now, you could just use NTSC DV widescreen, or see whatever works out for you best, really. Frame rate, you're always going to keep it at NTSC if you're in North America, or PAL if you're in Europe. Stereoscopic 3D is a new thing. I really don't know how to use it, but there will be a tutorial on that in somewhere along Season 2. Pixel format, for best quality, you will use 32-bit floating point, full range of video, meaning it will cover everything, and 8-bit if you want your video to be more sized, like smaller file size. So we're going to use full range. Compositing gamma, we're going to use linear. Full resolution rendering quality, just again, it depends on if you're looking to make a cheap little music video, you'd probably want to just go with, you know, good. And if you're looking to really up your quality, like as a screenshot from a video game, you're going to want to do best. Blur type, there's been a lot of controversy over YouTube whether Gaussian or Gaussian asymmetric is better. Just put Gaussian. Okay. Interlace method. This is where it gets pretty touchy. Depending on what you're doing, you'd probably want to just select none and just experiment. You could experiment and see which would work for you best. What type of video, you know, how much movement is in the video, it all depends. And you're going to start all new projects with these settings. Apply this real fast. Okay. Now, go to your audio. It's going to be stereo, 5.1 surround if you're really, you know, picky on your sound. Sample rate, always try to select it. Always go for 44,100 and above. Bit depth, go for 24. Sound's not a big killer on space. And sample and reset quality, always best, and apply. And basically, you know, ruler, that's just for showing you down here what that is, how many seconds you have in between each sub clip, as they call it. So this is all basically good here. So you're just going to okay. Now you set your video properties. Any clip on here that you want to do, you're going to right click, switches, maintain aspect ratio, and that will stretch your video out to the full HD widescreen format. Now, keep in mind if your video is a 640 by 480 and you're trying to stretch it out to 1280 by 720, mind, it's not going to be the best quality in the world, but it does look better than having to watch it on a small screen. So now that we have this little thing here, because like I said, it won't let you render without it, you're just going to click Render As. Now, this is where it gets a little testy here, okay? You're going to use for best, how would I put it? For best user capability, use MP4 or Windows Movie Video, Media Video. It really doesn't matter. I usually render them in that, but for beginners, I'd recommend Sony AVC. And remember, don't choose a template just yet. So this is where it gets fun because you can customize all your stuff. Template, again, you're just going to rename it YouTube 720p HD. Okay, you're going to save it. Just make sure everything's saved first. Okay, video format, you're going to keep it as AVC, and frame size, obviously if you're doing high definition 1080, you're going to select 720, you know, whatever. Profile, you're going to use baseline, entropy, CAOVC. Frame rate, you're going to keep it at the same frame as you matched in your previous properties. Okay. Field order, none. Progressive scan, like I said before. Pixel aspect ratio, 1000. Bit rate. Now the bit rate is what people really get confused on. Bit rate for 720p, I would recommend for file size, and since it's only YouTube viewing and it's not, you know, action-packed movie theater stuff, just put it on 6 million bit rate, okay? And encode mode, just use, well, it depends. I'll explain that in a later video, but just use automatic for now. Okay. Audio, like I said before, try to match, always match your project settings. So this is 128 at 44/100. Audio coding 5.1 surround, but you know we didn't do that before, so 44/100 is the, you know, what you usually want to do. System format, you're going to use MP4, and project, you're going to video rendering quality. This is important. Go to best. Stereoscopic 3D, you don't check anything. Okay, now you're ready to render. So you just rename your video YouTube tutorial and click save. Make sure your default template is selected. And that is it for Sony Vegas rendering.